Hello and welcome to the Fools on Stools podcast. My name is Kevin Walker, and as always, I'm joined by my co-stars Anthony Council and Cullen Brown. Today is April 20th, 2022. We hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your day. If you have a great time and don't mind, please do post us, share us, or tell others about us. If you don't like what you hear, then simply tell no one. Boys, today is, well, Cullen, what is today?
Today is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Hump day.
It is a hump day. That is correct.
It is April.
It is April.
In
That's for sure.
2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And does anyone have the day?
It's National Banana Day.
Oh.
Oh.
National Cheddar Fries Day.
Cheddar fries. Who?
I know a lot of people that'll be celebrating cheddar fries.
Yeah. National Lima Bean Respect Day. So respect lima beans.
I can't.
Shout out to all them lima beans.
I'm going to have to disagree on that one.
National Lookalike Day. National Pineapple Upside Down Cake Day. And
a lot of days.
I don't think I've ever
a lot
heard
of
that.
days, but we all know what day it is.
I think we're missing one.
Are we?
I think we're missing one.
Well, I'll say this. Snoop Dogg knows what day it is today.
No, today is an average day for Snoop Dogg. Let's
Yeah.
let's be honest here.
That's true.
Every day is a holiday for Snoop Dogg. Every day.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, there is a lot of days today.
I think everybody. I think they'll know. They'll know.
Everybody knows.
They'll know.
The day that Adolf Hitler passed away.
Yeah.
Or was it his birthday that it's today?
I think it's his birthday.
I think it's
Okay, it's his birthday. Okay. Well, I'm sorry for messing that one up, but
It's okay.
yeah. We're not going to celebrate that day. It's
Which
just
I don't really understand.
Like, how does that go into?
Why
like,
is it 420?
I don't know.
Whatever it is.
I mean, fraction-wise, it's 1/5. That's all I know. Because 420 converted, divided by 4, 1/5. Quick math,
quick math?
Maybe we need to.
You know what was quick math? Jalen Brunson dropping 41 on the Utah Jazz the other night.
Yeah, you know you're about to get it from your Mavs stands. Okay, you're just gonna have to sit in for this one, Cullen. It's gonna happen. Okay, I was flipping out the entire game.
Oh yeah,
Maxi Kleber. I'm not gonna say he's goated, but he had himself a night, and I have made the ultimate decision that I will never talk bad on Maxi Kleber's name ever again because he showed up when we needed him to. And dude was just a walking bucket. Like, literally, all of his points came from three-point land.
yeah, literally. And I said this on Sports Zone yesterday. I'm gonna give you guys the same numbers I gave them: 22, 22, and 41. Obviously, Jalen Brunson dropped a smooth career high 41 points.
Shout out, Dirk.
Exactly. And 22 threes, y'all. 20 for 47
That is
for the
crazy.
Mavericks.
That is crazy. The Mavericks don't shoot like that normally.
They don't. And they got their 3-point swagger back.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just balling, man.
It's one of those things that, like, congrats to the Mavericks. They deserve the win. They played like the better team.
Thank you.
Series is 1-1.
Thank you.
What is up with Utah giving up like random career highs in the playoffs to like all these? So you get, first of all, they gave up 41 to Jalen Brunson.
Right.
They gave up a career high last year to Terrence Mann of the Clippers.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Like, it's just,
Which we're not taking anything away from these players. Obviously, these players are very talented, and I mean,
what was it?
they know what they're doing.
It was Jamal Murray, like in the bubble. Like,
Yeah,
went off
Jamal
for a
Murray
stupid
went
game
off,
against the Jazz in the first
So
round.
I'll tell you this: Utah, throughout the regular season, has been known to lead going into half and give up the lead every single time. They give up the lead a lot.
Yeah,
they do. They're a.
Do you want me to tell you how many times the Mavericks led in that game?
how many?
I think it was a handful of times. I think the Mavericks only led like 4 times.
Okay, so whenever you come up with a stat like that, you got to have the exact number.
Okay,
I
I
was
think
expecting the exact stat that you're about to pull up there.
Oh,
I mean,
so sorry.
Like
I mean,
4
look,
times.
Look, I'll give you an amazing stat line for Brunson. He had 41 points and no turnovers.
None.
Yeah.
0.
That is
the Mavs
insane.
only had 3 turnovers.
That's
The
insane.
Utah Jazz had 4 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah.
In the first quarter.
And so I want to ask y'all this because y'all are the Mavs representatives on the show. Anthony's got his Mavericks shirt on today. Kevin's always representing the blue, white, and silver? Anthony's double repping today.
Look, man.
What
Pop
are the
socket.
is it silver? Is it white?
It's
Blue.
silver, white, and blue.
And blue. Those are the colors?
Those are the colors.
Championship silver.
Championship silver. Okay. I've talked about this, I don't think on the podcast yet, but I think I've mentioned it to y'all off podcast. Y'all really want Rudy Gobert on the Dallas Mavericks?
No.
Look, this is what I said yesterday. This is what I said. Look, verbatim, word for word, this is what I said. Rudy Gobert can't guard anybody.
No.
He can't guard anyone.
He gave up so many points coming into the Jazz. I hope this shows. Because I think that it was on record that I was like, oh, yeah, Rudy Gobert would be good. And I think you took me to the side, like a father-son combination of a talk or something.
As I usually do.
Yeah, and you were just like, look, man, you don't want this. And I was like, well, why not? And you showed me all the reasons. And I saw it on display last night. And
because it's the same thing with him. Like he'll in the regular season when you're going up against
fouls a lot. A lot. He just had a bunch of over the back fouls.
Not even that. Like you get into the regular season, you sit there and you're playing some guys that you shouldn't be. The lineups are going 10, 12 deep some nights, and you're playing against some bum teams that'll try to attack the basket. And Rudy Gobert is a really strong rim protector. There's no doubt about that in his game. His game is predicated on 2 inches and in.
Yep.
Both on the offense and defensive end. Because on the offensive end, he can't score unless it's a layup or dunk. And then on defense, whenever you get into the playoffs and whenever you get a smartly constructed team, like the Dallas Mavericks are, and you simply put 5 shooters on the court, he has to sit there and guard the perimeter. And then they just attack the paint. If Rudy helps off the drive, you just kick it to Rudy's man, and that man has a wide open 3. And if he sits there and just stays, you got a free lane to the basket. Yeah. And again, you mentioned how he can't guard on the perimeter because of his slow lateral movement. It's like, what are you doing out there? Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem. And that's the one thing the Mavericks did yesterday. They really attacked. They attacked him a lot. I don't think they did it in game 1. They did a fantastic job doing that in game 2, and hopefully they'll do it in the 3rd game, and hopefully Luka will be back. But
so
we'll see.
That does bring me to this point, and we'll just real quick before we hop to everything else that was going on. So Luka, I've talked about this ad nauseum with people around me. With the injury that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, this is what I think. This is what I wish would happen. Mavericks lost game 1. They lost by 6 points.
That, for record, that wasn't in your wish, right?
I'm laying out.
I want to confirm.
No, yeah, okay. I'm laying out the table.
Okay.
Mavericks lost game 1 by 6. Mavericks won game 2 by 6. So it's already been shown that these teams, even without Luka, are pretty neck and neck.
Agreed.
Because we can't sit here and say, oh, Donovan Mitchell had a poor shooting night. He had great nights both nights.
I mean, he was, 13 at 30?
He still had 30, 35,
I mean, he still gets his buckets. Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't say that, Jordan Clarkson's doing his thing, right? Mm-hmm. So they have guys and they're doing their thing. I think these teams are well matched. If the Mavericks can... And getting the win in game 2 was big because that obviously pushes the series, but it pushes the time for Luka to get better. So you win Tuesday. You get 2 days in between to give Luka rehab and everything like that. You go play Thursday. Play game 3 without Luka. If you can win, do not play Luka until you lose. If you lose, reevaluate the whole situation, see just how bad everything is going. But if you can win without Luka in this series, do it. Do it. Preserve him.
So what you're attempting to do, because the expression in football is like when you reevaluate something after a game, it's Monday morning quarterbacking. What you're doing is Monday morning NBA coaching right now. So you're basically kind of getting in the mind of Jason Kidd. Listen, we've got obviously I think it's without a doubt that Luka's the best player in the series. Like, respect to Donovan Mitchell, but Luka's the best player.
Yes.
When healthy, yes.
When healthy,
yeah.
So, and then you want him basically to just take the time, get as healthy as you possibly can.
Make sure there's nothing that could linger.
And all that stuff. That's a fair point. The thing with the calf strain is it's going to be nagging him throughout the postseason. He is not going to be for the rest of the postseason at 100%. I'm just letting you know this right now. It's just how it's going to be.
And I get that.
And with all due respect, I do think it deserves to take some time to give Luka some rest if he's not at the ability that he's going to be helpful on the court, right? However, every game in the playoffs matters, and you don't know how much a potential game 3 or a game 4. One of these games could be to the future of the series. And the Mavericks, as we've talked about before, they haven't won a playoff series since 2011.
Yeah.
We all know what happened in 2011.
Exactly. So
we need this bad. But so do the Jazz. The Jazz are getting knocked on for having early exits as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So
I think this honestly could have been one of the better matchups the Mavs could have drawn in the first round. Just because of the state of Utah's mental psyche. The Mavericks got really fortunate with their first round draw of the Utah Jazz.
Yeah,
I think I would rather, and I think I said this before, I would rather have played the Jazz than the Nuggets. And that takes us into our next game.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure. But my thing is the fact that you said that the Mavericks and the Jazz are evenly matched up.
You don't think so?
No way. You have your two best players on the Jazz. You have Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert and Bogdanovich, and the Mavericks don't even have Luka Doncic. Yeah. That's their best player.
Yeah,
and you're going off of a Jalen Brunson who dropped a 41-point game, who doesn't average 41 points.
I think Kevin was trying to say, and I'm going to hopefully give you credit here, Kevin. I think he was saying without Luka how evenly matched up the teams. Obviously, with Luka there, this is a totally different series. The Mavs should be and would be up 2-0 with Luka. I think that's what he was attempting to say. Like, he's not saying that, like, with Luka there, they're even.
I mean, Anthony, I get what you're saying, and I mean, players can look great on paper, but how they produce is different.
For sure. Absolutely.
So, I mean, we can look at the roster that they have, which is a stacked roster. Jordan Clarkson, Bogdanovich, Gobert, Mitchell. I mean, the list goes on and on. They've got guys.
Mm.
But by the Mavericks the Mavericks only lost them by 6 points on Monday. Or Sunday, correct myself. Was it Sunday? Whatever, game 1.
I think it was Saturday.
Yeah, whenever game 1 was. They only lost by 6 points, which as a Mavs fan, I was kind of optimistic because I was kind of thinking this could get really ugly. This could get really, really ugly. And we only lost by 6, and I was like, hey, there's some hope. We got some guys. And you have ball distributors. We have some shooters, and I think when you look at the paper, you're like, yeah, Jazz should take this. But maybe the Mavs have a shot with how much grit they have. I don't know.
I think even with the play, the Jazz should be able to take this. You have Donovan Mitchell, who's a bucket, who's a street ball magician, and Gobert, he's every year potential defensive player of the year.
I mean, and like I said, the Mavs didn't lead very much of that game.
True.
So, I mean, the series is wide open. I mean, anything could happen, really.
That's true. And hopefully, listen, for the sake of the NBA and for the sake of just neutral fans out here, because obviously I don't have a rooting interest in this matchup, I hope Luka does come back as soon as possible. And I want him as healthy as possible as well for the future, not only of these NBA playoffs, but futures to come. But speaking of players that could be potentially coming back, we've got another one in Brooklyn, a.k.a. Benton, a.k.a. Ben Simmons, who may or may not be trying to return in this first round series.
So interesting.
That's huge. And also,
I don't think so. I don't think it's huge. I think it's interesting. How are you going to have somebody that has spent no playtime at all with a team who got there in the middle of the season play in the playoffs?
Not just with the Nets. He didn't have any playtimes with Philly. He has not played since last year's
Zion.
playoffs.
I mean,
he hasn't played since last June.
It makes as much sense as Zion joining the Pelicans right now.
Here's the thing. So the one thing I'll push back on, because I get it, that chemistry and everything could be a factor with Ben Simmons returning to the lineup. It's saying that realistic target could be Game 4, April 25th. Just want to throw it out there for the sake of everything. Brooklyn needs bodies. Like, the amount of time that Kevin Durant was having to guard Jason Tatum was a concerning amount, because obviously Kevin Durant being Kevin Durant, like, you need him as much as you can on the offensive end to give you all the production against this number 1 rated Boston Celtics defense. And you need another guy other than, like, say, a Bruce Brown or a Nicholas Claxton or somebody like that can guard a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, or anything like this. And if there's one thing that Ben Simmons, again, if he's in shape and he's, up to playing just his normal standard, he can play defense.
That's true.
And he can sit there and also, run the offense a little bit, take some stress off of Kevin Durant and Kyrie's hands. Again, could it be a little bit of a chemistry funk a little bit potentially? Absolutely. But Brooklyn neneeds bodies right now.
Yeah,
That's
you're
true.
right. You're right. And also shout out to you, Cullen, and your alma mater at Marcus High School, because my boy Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year.
Rightfully so.
Thank you for that.
That is awesome, man.
Thank you for that. First one since Gary Payton, Seattle
Yes.
Supersonic.
Yes,
Gary Payton.
Yes.
And I listen. It was one of those things, I genuinely didn't think he was going to win the award. I mentioned it on our last episode that I thought he should have won it. Shout out to Marcus Smart, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to all
Yeah,
the defensive
man.
guards. The amount of defensive guards like Tony Allen and all these other guards that have been one of the best perimeter defenders in the league all came to his congratulations. It was like they all kind of won it, you know?
Yeah.
Tony
Yeah.
Allen, Drew Holiday, like all these guys are showing the love. You just love to see it. Gary Payton presenting the award. It felt nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Did you see the tweet?
Yeah, I did.
That was hilarious.
That whole printout and everything.
Yep. That was hilarious.
Yeah. And hey, listen, Marcus called it how it is, and the NBA responded, well, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's your award.
Exactly.
And that's one of
Exactly.
those things, unlike Rudy Gobert, he can guard out on the perimeter and also it's occasionally guard the paint.
I think it was just between him and Mikal Bridges, to be completely honest.
And
I think so too.
And Mikhail didn't seem like he had any hard feelings. He was just like, hey, listen, I'm going to get mine, but I appreciate all the fan support. Marcus is a deserving winner, so class act by him. Shout out to Mikhail Bridges as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your prediction on this? I know game 2 is now going on for Brooklyn and Boston, but what's y'all's prediction of this game tonight?
I mean, if Boston can win it, then dude, things are looking up, and if Boston can win, it's more momentum towards Boston than it is for Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Because like my biggest thing is on the defensive end, Boston's just they're being dogs out there.
I
man.
mean, this is Jason Tatum's showtime, and
Yeah.
we're getting it. We're getting it.
Yeah. Like it's Tatum, we obviously know he's talented.
Yeah.
We obviously know he deserves the money that he got from Boston.
Right.
And we understand that he is a franchise player, quote unquote. This is your time, though, because he had that moment, right, where he was really young. He went up against LeBron James in the conference finals and that whole young team that really shouldn't have been there, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
They made it all the way. I think it was to Game 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Game 7.
I think. Yeah.
Incredible.
Right, and an incredible showing by him. Since then, though, he really, he's had some moments, but he hasn't had, that big moment, like
And there's
that.
been some things going on for Boston,
Right, and
coaching and yeah.
Hasn't been the perfectly constructed team. There's players in and out that, shouldn't have been there, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
But look, I'm happy for Jason Tatum. Hopefully he can capitalize on this opportunity. We all three picked Boston in this
Yes.
first round matchup from last episode. If y'all haven't seen it, please go check that out for our full NBA playoff predictions. But yeah, no, I really think Boston is just a betterly constructed team. Obviously, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, they're good enough that there's no way this matchup is going to be a sweep on either side.
No.
And obviously, Kevin Durant's not going to have 2 bad games in a row. And I expect him to have a better game tonight than he had in game 1. Obviously, Kyrie Irving was absolutely on fire. He did not necessarily handle some of the fan interactions the best. He obviously got fined $50,000 for his actions in game 1.
We'll talk more about that in hour 2, though.
A little bit.
Yeah, we'll break that down.
But yeah, no, I think this is going to be a really competitive series. I see it going a minimum of 6 games. Regardless, I think teams are going to steal both from Brooklyn and from Boston, their road games and everything. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it as being one of the better first-round matchups that we have this year.
Now, on the other end, something that's not so much of a tight matchup. Guys, is Golden State back?
I'm scared, man. Golden State looks scary right now.
I mean,
Listen,
it's going to be a tough job for not Jason Kidd. It's going to be a tough job for Steve Kerr because you got Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, and Steph Curry. Who's coming out of that starting lineup? Because Steph
you
Curry
just
was
named the
sixth
starting
man.
lineup.
I mean,
thing.
yeah,
No, I'm saying because the last game Steph was he came off the bench.
he did.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still coming back from that injury, and he's probably trying to tend to it best he can.
Well,
and-
yeah, but who's coming off the starting lineup?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it would be Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole knows it because, again, while Jordan Poole has been balling out, and he deserves all of his acclaim that he's getting, he should have been on that most improved
Exactly.
ballot, and I cannot believe that the NBA did not even have him in the top 3.
him or Jalen Brunson.
Not even-
Seriously,
No,
not in the
yeah.
top 3. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, first of all, I'm happy because as in previous episode, we talked about who's the biggest threat to the Phoenix Suns. And I was like, I'm looking at those boys in Golden State, those shooters, those
man.
Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. And right now it looks good. I'm knocking on wood for them because I want to see the best healthy basketball. Obviously, what happened to Devin Booker, we wish you the best, Devin Booker. Hopefully you can get back soon, healthy, take it easy with your hamstring because that's a whole playoff
Yeah, it
potential
is.
shifter in the West.
And we hope Chris Paul will never get that ref again.
Right.
Him and Scott Foster got to be. I've never seen anything like that in terms of like a referee and like any player in
I
any
don't think
sport.
that. Yeah, it's not very popular.
They're
I would
frenemies.
assume.
Like 0-14 in his career games with Scott Foster in the playoffs.
So what? He shows up to the game. He sees, and you're like, oh, come
And
on.
here it is. Yeah, it's essentially what it is.
Remember when LeBron James was in the playoffs and he saw Kawhi Leonard get checked in?
Yeah,
Then he was like, "Oh man,
yeah,
That's
that,
exactly
that old
what
clip.
happened.
I do because it was when Kawhi was in San Antonio.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
How
like
long-
that moment.
how- yeah.
That's like that moment with Chris
How long?
Paul.
How long ago was that?
It was a long time ago. But yeah, no. Listen,
But do the Nuggets have a shot?
listen. So I wanted.
I'm sorry, I just gotta laugh.
I mean,
There's no way.
I think
There's no
the
way.
Nuggets are underachieving. Thank you. Underachieving what we thought they could do.
So
I think we slept
Especially
on,
Nikola Jokic. Jokic, sorry.
good Lord,
I'm just
child.
gonna start calling him. I'm just gonna call him the Joker.
Yeah, just call him the Joker.
just call him the Joker.
I think
please.
people just slept on Golden State. I really do believe that.
So I'm going to mention some names to y'all,
Okay.
and it's going to have something to do with this conversation. Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Steve Nash, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Moses Malone, Karl Malone. Now, I briefly mentioned it to y'all, and it's obviously in our script, but for those viewers who don't know what I'm talking about, I just read the 13 NBA players who have won league MVP during the regular season more than once. Those are all 13 of the names. Those guys right there. We talked about it in our last episode that I believe Nikola Jokic will be the award winner for the MVP. I believe he's going to win it. I wouldn't personally have picked him for MVP, but I do believe Nikola Jokic is going to win MVP.
Yeah.
So that'll make him a two-time champion, obviously winning it last year. When you're a two-time league MVP, and even when you just win MVP in general, and you're looked at to be a first-team All-NBA, and I understand he doesn't have Jamal Murray, and I understand he doesn't have Michael Porter Jr., and I get that, again, they're not the favored guy in the matchup, but man, you can't be getting punked like Nikola Jokic has been doing.
Look, especially to how tall is Draymond Green?
6'7", I think we give him.
Yeah,
6'8".
come on now, bro.
I mean, Draymond's making his life hell. Just say it blank. And Nikola Jokic has gotten ejected now 2 out of his last 4 playoff games because it was just stuff that he's just mentally got, or 2 out of his last 3, excuse me.
Yeah.
Because he got ejected at the last one. He got swept out of the playoffs last year by Phoenix.
Yep.
If Nikola Jokic gets swept out again after winning MVP again, we have to sit here and hold Nikola Jokic accountable. Because again, I understand it's a regular season award, and he did the very best he could with the lack of talent around him. But you have to sit there, especially as a 2-time league MVP potentially. You can't just get punked like that. It's okay if you lose. Like Russell Westbrook got beaten 5 after he had the triple-double season.
Right.
Russell Westbrook at least kept those games close and averaged a triple-double for the series. Like, you just can't sit there and underperform what you do in the regular season, which Nikola Jokic is doing, and just get punked and let
Yeah.
the Nuggets just absolutely get run off the floor by the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, you can't get bullied by Draymond Green.
And not only that, but maybe we need to reevaluate what an MVP is.
It's one of those things. The most valuable player tag has been loosely, especially in the NBA, has been loosely given to a lot of players that shouldn't have deserved the award over the past few years. I'll get into that list another day. Maybe that's a future list on Cullen's Corner. But it's just one of those things that we've talked about it, value, right? Valuable. Nikola Jokic is valuable to his team. Is he more valuable compared to other players in the league? None of us picked him to be the MVP
No.
this year.
No.
And yet he's potentially about to win his second league MVP in a row, and it's just he's got nothing to show for it in the postseason when it really matters.
Yeah. We all know who should be MVP. I mean, at least I do.
Yeah. Well, I think we all three had different MVPs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think you were Embiid, he was Giannis, and I was Luka.
Yeah.
Which is weird that I'm the non-Mavs
Well,
fan that
it's
picked
just-
Luka, but that's besides the point.
I mean, I guess I was just trying to stay realistic because I knew that Luka didn't really have a shot.
Well, it wasn't, but it wasn't who we
Yeah,
thought.
that
Yeah.
is true. That is true. It is true. But hey, maybe if the Mavericks are doing what they're doing, maybe not.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Please come back. Please come back.
Yeah. Maybe Jalen Brunson should have gotten the award.
But hey,
Yeah.
But how many games we got left to cover? Because I know we got a feisty one between Minnesota and Memphis.
In Minnesota and Memphis. So those games so it's really interesting because Ja came back with a vengeance. He obviously posted the Michael Jordan Last Dance meme on his Instagram. We all saw it.
Love that.
I love his mentality, and I think Memphis should win the series pretty handily. Like, Minnesota's just too young. I understand they're talented, but they're not at the level that Memphis is at. Let's just be honest.
But game one, Anthony Edwards was a bucket.
He
was a baller.
And Memphis came in there thinking that they were hot you-know-what, and they got stomped like they were hot you-know-what.
Yeah, they did.
So,
and then they came back and they put up numbers again.
They did. And
but I think that, real quick before we dissect this any further, I think my favorite part of the series is Cat and Jaw's dad talking trash to each other.
So who's winning that trash talk battle? I'm going with Jaw right now. I'm going with Jaw's dad.
Yeah, probably me as well. I'm gonna say that.
Well, the thing is, and I'll say this for Cat's dad, like Cat's dad's coming in with his son's team being the underdog. So like you have to sit there and think like,
you're right.
Like Jaw's dad's like high riding it a little bit. He's front running a little bit.
He's chilling. He's
chilling right now. So he's of course he's gonna have a bigger bravado and he's gonna be more out there because his son's got the better team. I mean, it's like the Michael Jordan quote that Jaw put out there. It's easy to bleep talk when you're ahead.
Ain't that the truth?
But when you're tied or when you're behind, that's when it gets real tough. That's when the real people get out there.
Oh yeah, Jaw was like, y'all stay on y'all side.
Yep,
stay on y'all side. Okay, all y'all people who said Memphis ain't all that in a bag of chips. Stay on y'all side. Okay, okay, I'm gonna stay on my side.
Right,
and we gonna win.
Right,
and that's what's probably gonna happen.
Yeah,
with Memphis because they're some dogs and they can ball even without John Morant.
Yeah.
It's true.
But you know who else is balling though? My boy, my man, my main man, the process, Joel Embiid, just killing.
I'm sorry, taking care of
Anthony.
business.
Hold on, Kevin. Who did you pick to win the first round matchup of the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers? We do have it on tape. May I remind you, sir?
I understand. I did pick the Raptors until I saw Joel Embiid beat up.
No. There's no takesy backsies. You say something, it is in stone.
I know what I said.
It is in stone. You cannot change your pick. Trust
I'm not changing. Did I say I was changing the pick?
You said until I saw.
Yeah, but I'm not changing the pick. I'm not being like. Anyway, I'm not going with that. But
man, it's been a while since I've heard the Kevin.
But Joel Embiid, the process is killing it.
Yeah, he is.
I'm glad he's dropping only 19. He dropped 19 the first game.
Mm-hmm.
He said he wasn't going to drop he said he wasn't going to drop like 41 points because there's no point because he's trying to get players involved.
Right.
Tyrese Maxey is averaging 30 points in this game. Bro.
Shout out Tyrese Maxey.
What? What?
So. Tyrese Maxey deserves all the praise and everything. He's balling out.
Absolutely.
He's one of the young, bright stars of the NBA. We're fortunate to have him. My main takeaway from the 76ers is, yes, they're up 2-0. They handled business at home. They did what they were supposed to do.
Oh, I feel like I know where you're going.
Where is that guy? That guy that's supposed to be the guy that they flew in the private jet? The guy that's the former league MVP? The guy that's sitting there supposed to be the second guy behind Joel Embiid?
Yeah.
The guy that I argued whenever
the
we had this
guy.
trade?
The third guy.
He's number 3 right now.
Yeah.
He's lucky Tobias Harris is there, or else he'd the normal third guy would be outperforming James right now. Good Lord. Harden.
If you're listening.
Who isn't listening to the Full Zones podcast? Come on now.
Millions of viewers.
Absolutely. Yeah. right up there in the charts. James Harden. Man, you got to show up, man.
Get your stuff together, man.
You're not even asked to carry the biggest part of the load anymore. You're no longer the number one guy that you just sit there and potentially take the last shot. You've got an MVP candidate as your co-runner.
You're not the guy anymore.
You don't have to be. And I get it that ever since the hamstring, he's looked a little slower. He looks a little older. He's not the biggest workout warrior. He's not the guy that takes care of himself in the offseason. James, man, anything you got left in the tank. You need to
please, man.
You need to put it out there right now,
bro. Geez, man, if you want a ring or something, you got to at least. You don't have to be Houston James Harden. At least be Brooklyn James Harden. Right when you got there, be the point guard that you are, and please, because at the end of the day, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, they can't do it on their own.
Yeah.
And also Thybulle's not going to be able to play in Toronto, in this game that's going to be coming up tonight at 7:00. It's going to be just. I don't think it's going to be hard for them to win this series. I honestly think they could sweep them. I really do think that the 76ers could easily sweep the Raptors just because of how Joel Embiid is playing and on the defensive end, offensive end, and Tyrese Maxey as well.
Absolutely. I think ultimately, like, this round may not be so important for James Harden. Like, you need to get in conditioning, you need to get in the offensive flow and everything. But whenever you get into potentially the next round with the Miami Heat, and the way the Miami Heat are looking with Jimmy Butler looking like, bubble Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's scary.
Like, James Harden, you better
show up, man.
You better show up and you better ball out because Philadelphia traded for you for a reason. And listen, Eastern Conference is going to be a dogfight, and you at least if you go down, don't go out like a punk.
Yeah, right.
Do not go out like a punk. Man, it's
his numbers look like concert tickets. Like his numbers look like concert events. Like 45%, 4 for 22. Like, bro, what? Like,
yeah.
No. Like,
absolutely.
Like you have to shoot better.
Yep.
If you don't, I mean, it could be a no problem because of Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris, but you got to at least show up at least a little bit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And hopefully the 76ers do show out. I think outside of you, we all pick the 76ers, and we just want to see the best players play against the best players. It's the NBA playoffs. We want to see the best versus the best. We want to see the best version of the best playing like they are.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We've talked a lot of NBA. We're going to switch gears now over to the gridiron, the NFL. And one thing that me and Kevin were talking about before the show, this is before you arrived, Anthony.
Cool.
Was about the quarterback potential carousel that is still in place.
Yeah.
Carousel.
Among the NFL team. Well, you've been on a carousel ride.
Yeah.
You've been to the state fair, the ride that goes round and round.
Round and round.
Yeah, all that stuff, right?
That's
Some
a Ferris
never get
wheel.
off.
Some never get off. That's true.
You're making your hand like a Ferris wheel. The carousel goes.
Yeah, carous's this way.
Oh,
this
that's
way.
what I'm doing.
No,
you're
that's
going-
a Ferris
I'm
wheel.
making a circle regardless. I'm just.
I'd be scared, you know what, if I was on a carousel that was going like that. That's all I'm saying.
You got the horse
gotta
going
hang
all
on.
the way up and going all the way down.
But I just want to highlight, and then we can talk about it, the potential moves. So we've got Kyler Murray, which, again, I don't expect him to be moved, but, again, he's had issues with his contract, right? We've obviously known about Baker Mayfield. Cleveland has a quarterback already, and it's not Baker, so Baker's more than likely going to get moved. Jimmy Garoppolo, the man that made the NFC Championship game that we've talked about on the show multiple times, he's looking for a new place to potentially start. Aaron Rodgers recently got signed with the Packers, so Jordan Love could potentially be on the move somewhere. And again, there's other guys, like maybe Sam Darnold gets moved. No one.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's.
So who?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's stuck.
Exactly. So my question to y'all is, with the draft approaching, we're going to get more into the draft probably next week whenever it's getting closer.
Yeah.
Where do you potentially see some of these guys going, if anywhere?
So it's so weird because I think for Baker alone, Seattle and Carolina are the only teams.
I agree.
I don't know if I would say Carolina doesn't want him, but I can tell you who don't. I can tell you who does not want him.
I bet Cullen knows too.
Safe bet.
Robbie
safe bet.
Anderson does not wants no part of Baker Mayfield
part.
being over there.
Did you see that Instagram post?
I think so.
Yeah.
It wasn't a post; it was just comment. He's like, "Nah."
Well, no, like the post that it was on. and
Oh
then
yeah,
he
yeah,
commented
yeah,
on it.
yeah. But yeah, Robbie Anderson, no thanks. He's like, no, I don't want no part of that. So that's interesting. But Seattle's not making any moves to try to get him because I think they're trying to find their way into play for a quarterback in the draft. Does Seattle go and get him anyway? Maybe, maybe not. They just signed Geno Smith,
They did.
which I personally thought Geno Smith was a decent backup quarterback.
Not a starter.
No, not a starter, but a decent backup quarterback.
Right.
So do they go get Baker for maybe? It's a hard thing.
So let me.
I don't know, man.
Let me, as the Seattle man on the podcast, let me try to at least in my opinion, see what I think. Right. So they traded for Drew Lock. Excuse me. They signed Geno Smith, as you mentioned out. They do have the 9th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
My whole process and thinking, because you just mentioned two teams that potentially want Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Panthers and the Seahawks.
Which are really the only teams that we've all heard that is still in the run.
Exactly. If you're Seattle and you're seeing from all reports that Carolina really isn't making a push to get out there, and there's really only 2 teams that are even remotely interested in Baker Mayfield, why would you sit there and rush it? Like, the closer you get to draft time, the closer and more likely Cleveland is going to be trying to just get rid of Baker Mayfield at any expense cost. Because once after the draft happens and potentially teams draft their quarterback and teams, have their guys that they build for the future for, Baker Mayfield's value in terms of trade asset significantly drops.
Yeah,
and not
that's
only
very
that,
true.
but if you're the Browns, and I know we're getting into this here in a little bit, you just gave Deshaun Watson a completely guaranteed $230 million contract, and you just gave your best corner, probably one of the top 5 corners in the game right now, Denzel Ward, a pretty healthy contract. So you're trying to get any money that can be paid for by elsewhere to be taken care of.
Off the books.
So if Seattle or Carolina comes into Cleveland and like, hey, we'll take Baker Mayfield for 7th round pick, but we'll take half or 3/4 of his contract, they're like, get him out the door.
Yeah.
Go. Like, we got money that is going to other places.
But now you can negotiate it. How much of that contract are you looking to get off of?
Because I tell you,
is it 3/4? Is it half? Is it, hey, you just simply,
I don't know.
you
if
want to
it's
take the
half.
contract, you can take him. I mean, just, Cleveland has that power to just, hey, whoever wants to pay his contract or whoever wants to pay the most of his contract, we don't even care about the draft.
Yeah.
Just get
him out of here.
Just get him out.
We just
Yeah.
need that money.
Yeah. Because
Not going to him.
Because he did the interview. Forgive me, I'm forgetting the podcast name that he went on.
I can't remember either.
It wasn't Full Send. It was
No, it was not.
no. I'm forgetting what the name of it was. I
There's so
apologize.
many these days,
It really is.
but we're the best. It's fine. It's
Of
fine.
course,
No
of
big deal.
course. And again, Baker seems like he's done. The Browns are obviously, they've moved on. Hopefully this situation gets resolved.
I did think it was interesting for him to say himself that Carolina is the most likely option. I thought that was interesting. You don't hear that from players often.
Was it the YNK podcast?
I think,
YNK.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think that's right.
There you go. Thank you, Anthony.
Yep.
But yeah, no, because I think he said Seattle was the most likely option. I think he said Carolina was originally his option, and then Seattle was the most likely option.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
And
can
the
see
quote.
him playing Carolina. I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
want
at
him
this
to
point,
play
I
in
can
Carolina,
see either
but
or.
Yeah, but that'll,
I can't see him playing in Seattle. Like, I
But the
just
only
can't.
problem for Carolina is you're paying Sam Darnold a lot of money for probably not even starting. So
Yeah, that's
which
true.
again, and here's another situation. So I'm glad that you brought up Sam Darnold. In San Francisco, there's Jimmy Garoppolo.
and man, that's just so weird.
So Jimmy goes and Baker.
Well, no, I'm saying potentially if they don't want Baker Mayfield as their starting quarterback, and again, they have the 6th overall pick, Carolina does. So they could easily get potentially Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, any of those guys in the draft. Say they don't want to go right that. Say maybe they want to go want to go a veteran. They could potentially go Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe they have the reasons for wanting Jimmy over Baker. And they say, hey, listen, we'll take on Sam, because Sam's is an expiring contract. Jimmy still has a couple of years on his.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold could be your backup quarterback to Trey Lance. He's an athletic guy who knows the league. He can sit there and he's
That's
a veteran.
Not bad.
So he can do that. And then Jimmy Garoppolo comes over to Carolina and potentially takes that start. Again, it just depends on how they feel about it. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but at least in my mind, it makes sense because you get off of Darnold's not your guy anymore. Because there's just no way that I see Carolina going into next season with Sam Darnold as their quarterback.
Well, I also
I just
think
can't see it.
what pick does Carolina have?
6.
They're
6.
taking a quarterback. I can't believe anything else that they're not. I just think that they're gonna grab a quarterback. It's just who is it gonna
So
be?
the only thing that could potentially dethrone that, Anthony's just potentially dying over there. Just want to make sure you're okay, brother.
Yeah,
You good?
I'm chilling. I'm
All
chilling.
right.
I'm just coughing because Carolina's hopefully doesn't keep Sam Darnold.
Right. The only thing that could potentially derail that is if you're Carolina and you say in Carolina, again, this is all hypothetical. What if Carolina thinks there's only one guy that they potentially view as worthy of the 6th overall pick, right? Detroit Lions with Jared Goff. They have the number 2 overall pick.
If I'm the Lions, I'm taking a quarterback.
Again, because that could happen. Like they could sit there, take Carolina's guy, and Carolina's sitting there like, well, we just got to take BPA. And now they're looking at the potential veteran options. They already said they don't want Baker. maybe they go Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just saying it could be an option for Jimmy.
I don't see Detroit taking a. If you said they have the second pick,
They have the number 2 overall
They've
pick.
met with
I don't
met with
see
just
them.
about every quarterback that's potential for the first round.
I don't
Yeah.
see them taking a quarterback.
I think they do.
I see them taking a defensive player.
I think they
honestly.
do. I think that's what you need. You have some players in Detroit. Believe it or not, you have some talent. You need a quarterback. You need a leader. And
Jared Goff's not in.
whether if you want that to be Malik Willis, which I personally think is probably the best quarterback that we've seen. Obviously, everything's going to pan out differently come 2-3 years from now. Everything's going to look different. But
Shoot, 2-3 weeks from now, honestly,
I mean,
from the season.
yeah. So, I mean, it's just, and another thing about this carousel, it's going, some of these quarterbacks could be talked about in the middle of this draft. We could have a lot of possible trades going on during this draft.
Yeah, I think so too. But it might not just be quarterback drafts. Quarterback trades. Quarterback trades, during the draft. Because there's another player that is rumored to want out of their situation.
Nah, he ain't rumored. He's out of there.
He's gone. He's gone.
Deebo Samuel, wideback, or actually he doesn't want to be referred to as a dual player anymore, as according to reports from Jeff Darlington, saying that Deebo Samuel has requested a trade out of the San Francisco 49ers organization. He says that it's not just the contract negotiations that he's currently in, but also his role within the offense.
Well, San Francisco said, hey, we'll pay you all the money you want, and as Anthony likes to say, a bag of chips. We'll give you everything you want. But they've said, hey, Deebo has not came to the table. He doesn't come to the table. He doesn't want to talk about this stuff. And I guess it just comes down to he doesn't like all that being on his plate, which I completely understand. If you go back and you look at the playoff games that they went through, he was probably just like when he's not playing football, he's probably just laying in a tub of ice. I mean, he is getting tore up.
Yeah, that's true.
He is. And it's taken a wear and tear on his body. The thing that's got me kind of curious about this story makes me believe that there might be something more than just what's on the surface right now. Deebo Samuel, we didn't hear any of the stuff that he didn't like being a running back / wide receiver or anything during the season. Now, maybe he's just being a team guy and he was being level-headed.
True.
But he did coin the term when asked, I'm a wide back. And he was saying, he was smiling. He was sitting there. I know he wasn't unhappy when he was getting all those touchdowns.
That's very fair.
And all those touches. And Kyle Shanahan made him like the guy. And the 49ers, their offense is very unique in which Kyle Shanahan interchanges a lot of players. The only consistent players on that offense are really George Kittle, which his role even decreased a little bit last year, and Deebo Samuel. And Deebo still felt like, again, he just wants to be valued as a wide receiver. The reason why I think that's interesting is because when we're talking about wide receiver contracts, there have been 2 names that have gotten recent extensions as of late, Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. Those are wide receiver contracts. Those are not wide receiver running back contracts.
True.
Running backs, like Derrick Henry, like Christian McCaffrey, they do get their money, but it's not Devontae Adams money.
No, it's not.
It's not
Yeah, it's
Tyreek
not.
Hill money.
Yeah,
and what I
no.
think could be happening, again, this is speculation. I don't have any reports backing this. I believe that maybe San Francisco did come to him and was like, hey, we want to negotiate and everything. But Deebo was insulted by the fact that they took his running back status into account and maybe lowballed him on the offer of what he actually deserved.
So that's what you think? I think that they were willing to pay him more.
No, I don't. Because here's the thing. Because Deebo, again, he's all happy. He's getting all these touches. He's using a very unique way. He was smiling, wide back and everything. He's all happy and everything. The only thing that could make that change in his mindset, because again, he wasn't complaining when he's getting all these touchdowns, all these targets and everything, is, again, maybe there's an issue with Trey Lance or something. Maybe he knows something about him that he doesn't know, or maybe there's another issue that's below the surface. But the only thing, based on the information that we have that makes sense to me, is the fact that maybe the 49ers came at him with a contract that he wasn't necessarily in love with, and he was like, hold on. I'm a wide receiver first. You drafted me as a wide receiver.
Right.
I'm trying to get that wide receiver money. If anything, because of everything that I do in the offense, I should be getting more than what Devontae Adams or what Tyreek Hill does. And again, you could make an argument he deserves to get paid like those guys do based on the season that he had last year.
Yeah, and he does for sure. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, from everything that you're saying, it makes sense because if you're coming at him like a Derrick Henry or another running back. I mean, with that money,
Right.
money talks, man.
And it may not be like exactly that kind of money, but it may have been like scaled back because they sit there and were like, well, you're kind of a running back, you're kind of a wide receiver, you're kind of in that no man's zone of what you are position wise. It was like Jimmy Graham a couple of years ago when he was with the Saints. He was sitting there and he's a tight end, obviously, but the Saints used him a lot as a wide receiver, splitting him out wide and having him run routes and everything. Jimmy Graham was trying to get wide receiver money.
Right.
Because it pays better than the tight end money. And Jimmy Graham came out and was like, y'all use me basically as a wide receiver, pay me like wide receiver money.
Yeah.
Again, none of this is confirmed, so I don't want to sit there and spread rumors that, that this is actually happening.
That's like saying I'm going to pay not Kyler Murray. I'm going to pay Lamar Jackson like a running back and not like a quarterback.
It just doesn't make sense.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly. So Debo to me deserves his money, such as a Devontae Adams or a Tyreek Hill. Like, he deserves that kind of money based on his production last year. He should be. From what we've seen so far, and there again, more news might come out that could lead us to more conclusions of everything. It just doesn't, like you said, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Because
Debo, there was no complaints that we heard of during the season about, man, I'm really upset that they're making me play running back and giving me all these touches and I'm getting all these touchdowns and, I'm redefining the position.
Right.
Like, he was a revolutionary. Like, the fact that he was able to be used in the ways that he was able to be used. And again, like, unless San Francisco, there's something that we don't know about. Or maybe it's the Trey Lance thing.
Well,
I don't know.
have something.
What you got?
There is rumor that there have been issues in the wide receiver room.
With you're saying just with other wide receivers, or
I'll tell you the tweet. This is from Ian Rappaport, so we know we can trust it.
okay.
It says, for more than a week, the 49ers have been dealing with a major issue in the wide receivers room as Deebo Samuel requested a trade. So does that mean other players have problems with him?
That's the question. Like, is he acting too much
because that's
like a
kind
diva?
of an open-ended comment,
Like, that's a very broad statement, and that's a very, like...
That could be Deebo has problems with wide receivers. That could be wide receivers have problems with Deebo. That could be...
He's not seeing eye to eye with coaching. He's not seeing eye to eye with, whomever.
That's very true.
And again, Deebo... I want to make this very clear. Deebo deserves his money.
It's just because the contract is just so... It's going to be different.
It is.
Because
he's a different player.
I get it. He does. Okay, maybe he doesn't want to be that hybrid. I get it. If that is true, maybe he doesn't want to be the hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit here and tell me he's never going to run the ball again. You can't sit here and tell me
he's still going to.
While with San Francisco. If he stays with which again, it doesn't look like he's going to stay with San Francisco. If he goes to a new team and he says, hey, I want to be your wide receiver, I mean, again, you can make the argument maybe in a new situation to try to compensate and make him happy that they do leave him at a wide receiver position.
And he could go to a different team, but like, hey, that crap I was saying, like, not be, like, I want to be that wide back, like I want to be that guy.
It just, like Anthony said, it doesn't make sense. Like, we don't have the full bit of information yet, which is really hard about this story and hard about being in media because we're asked to talk about it and asked to give our opinion on it. And this is a story I guarantee
it's still developing. It's still unfolding.
And we don't have all the info out yet.
No.
Okay, so I'll put another spin on it.
Okay.
Since Deebo wants to trade, where is the best fit for him to go?
So so as of right now, there's 4 potential teams.
Well, all I know is one team better be on there, and I'm going to say it. If they're not on there, I'm about to go ahead, Kevin.
Cullen's about to get heated.
The Jets. Obviously, you think about that, the Robert Saleh reunion possibility.
They were in the Tyreek Hill sweepstakes as well.
So the Jets, which that means they were obviously willing to pay.
Right.
So the Jets, the Packers, the Chiefs, and the Lions.
The Packers? Holy mackerel.
I don't know what they'd have to...
Here's the thing.
If the Packers get Deebo Samuel...
The Chiefs and the Packers, I don't think are as serious, to be honest.
So Chiefs, Packers, what was the last team? I'm sorry?
The Lions.
The Lions. Okay, so the Lions.
Which if you're the Lions, you're just like, I will take it. Anyway.
Right, exactly.
So, and that's rumored. Again, we could see more teams get injured in this race.
Well, I mean, it's followed up by, and again, Ian Rappaport, and he says that he assumes most other teams who want good players are going to be in this battle.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm happy that Green Bay is on the list is because, listen,
I'm not.
Well, look, the Packers have this weird history of saying that they're in on so many players and never actually delivering. Like they've said they've been on J.J. Watt. They said they were in on DeAndre Hopkins. They've said it multiple times, either free agent or trade targets, that they're like they're ready to make a move, and they just never do. And
They drop the ball.
Yeah, they do. And
I mean,
literally.
look at Devontae Adams. So
Right.
it's like, you know.
And so they just lost arguably the number one wide receiver in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, you just signed him to this extension. You committed to him. You know, again, I get Aaron's getting paid a lot of money. He's taking up a lot of the salary cap. And it's not like that San Francisco's inclined to trade Debo to another NFC team. But the Packers should absolutely be all over this trade.
Yeah.
Giving Debo the money, turning his first year into a signing bonus, whatever you have to do to make the salaries work. They need a guy like Debo Samuel to potentially give them a chance, because that division, that's catching up to Green Bay.
Yeah,
The Vikings are going to get better. Justin Fields is going to have another year of development. We already talked about the Lions potentially being better than what they thought they'd be.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's an interesting one. To me, the interesting team, or the most interesting team from your list, Kevin, is the Kansas City Chiefs.
I just don't see them as a serious. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are already stacked. They're just like, we're going to throw our hat in there because we're the Chiefs. I don't think they're serious about it.
A wide receiver room of
Maybe.
MVS, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman, and whoever else you want to throw in there. You put Debo Samuel in replace of all three of those. They are instantly a game changer. They are with Andy Reid as the play
That's
caller.
an all-star team.
With
Wide
Travis
receivers,
Kelce.
for real.
Again, you lose Tyreek Hill. That. Don't get me wrong. That's a blow. You get Debo Samuel to replace him.
Hey, man, that's a running back and wide receiver.
That is a scary.
And all you got to do...
I think the only way it happens is if Debo is willing to take a pay cut for a ring.
And look,
And maybe he did. Maybe he is.
and that's what I'm saying. Maybe he converts some of his initial first year, kind of like Deshaun Watson did, into a signing bonus and really does that. It'll be very interesting to see. We are going to be paying attention to the story as it develops, and we will keep you the best updated as we can here on the Fools on Stools podcast. But it's the one story that I'm going to be watching very closely myself.
It's a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, boys.
Well, y'all, hold on.
No, well, what?
What?
What? What?
I just have an announcement.
Okay.
Somebody got paid.
Oh, who just got paid?
Someone got paid?
Yep.
Did we get paid?
Oh, did we already talk about? We already talked about it.
Yeah, but we didn't say the details.
Do you want to do the honors?
No, Cullen, you are the numbers guy. It is you.
Better be a lot of money.
Oh, how about the highest?
The highest.
The most.
Cleveland Browns cornerback Denzel Ward becomes the NFL's top paid cornerback with a 5-year, $100.5 million contract extension that includes $71.25 million guaranteed.
Oh, my gosh.
At age 24, Ward is now the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. The $20.1 million average annual salary puts him ahead of cornerback Jalen Ramsey of the Los Angeles Rams, whose annual salary is at $20 million per season. So they did enough. Denzel Ward probably came to Cleveland and was like, hey, as long as you make me the highest paid cornerback, I will re-sign with you. And Cleveland, to about the lowest number you could, made that a reality.
Of course, Cleveland is going to do that. Cleveland. I
I mean,
all
we
the
say
teams
the
in
lowest.
NFL,
I mean,
Cleveland's going to do that.
We say the lowest possible number. I mean, that is still $500,000.
I mean, listen, that's money that I would greatly take in a heartbeat, but
Yeah.
you relatively wise.
I mean, I know. I'm just saying.
relatively wise.
It's just funny when we talk about this much money. Like, it's just.
It's funny how we
Yeah.
talk about this much money with the Cleveland Browns. Like, come on now.
They're reaching in
Hey,
their back
That's
pockets,
great.
man.
I mean, good for him. You know, get your money.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
for sure.
Cleveland drafted, developed them. They kept one of their guys. I'm totally okay with the move. Denzel Ward's one of the more talented cornerbacks in all of the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he got his money.
Ramsey even said it himself. Hey, get your bag.
Hey, yeah.
Get your bag.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not like Ramsey's complaining.
No,
he's
it's
got a
true.
ring on his
I mean,
finger
they are
now.
the only two $100 million cornerbacks in the game right now. So
Yeah,
There
and the
you go.
highest contract in NFL history for a cornerback.
Yep.
That's
JC
impressive.
Jackson's probably kicking himself a little bit, but
He's signed for millions of dollars and he's playing in Los Angeles. I really don't think he's hurt.
I'm
himself
just
that
saying.
bad.
I'm just
Yeah.
Like
a
saying.
little
Denzel Ward's
bit.
got the money and he's playing in Cleveland. Respect to Cleveland, but you're playing in Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Yeah, that's
Cleveland.
probably why he was.
Remember
like,
that Joe Kim Noah interview? I don't remember the last time someone told me they're going to vacation in Cleveland.
Right. Exactly.
Tell me I'm wrong, Kevin. There,
That's the
there you
second
go.
one today.
And with that, I shut the door on that argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yep.
sounds about right. Well, boys,
We've got an interview coming up.
yeah, we got
Yeah.
a big one. We were able to get freshman legend. We were able to get Aaron Scott, A. Scott.
Conference USA all freshmen,
Yeah,
Aaron Scott.
yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all want to make sure y'all
Got to
tune
put some
into this.
respect on that
Like
one.
tune
Yeah.
in.
How many times did he win that award?
Well,
he
I think it was
won a
like
lot.
I think it was like 3 straight in January.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, like
crazy,
a week.
bro.
He was-
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, he talks about. I mean, yeah.
That
I'm
was
not gonna
impressive.
spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but
Right.
he's a goofy guy. So y'all want to tune in. It was a great interview. Hope to have him on. But yeah, boys, we're gonna take it over to the interview. Y'all be sure to stay tuned for hour 2 afterwards, and we'll get y'all score update too. But for now, peace.